So good afternoon, everybody. I think we're getting ready to start here. Thank you for joining us today. And today we're going to talk during this Google Hangout about online video strategies. We have two great guests with us today. First of all, my name is George Mercado. I'm the Senior Director of Interactive for Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. And we also have Raj Kassar and Jeff Gaffney with us. A little background on our guests. Raj has worked as a real estate agent for 12 years before going on his own and creating the Boutique Real Estate Group. Raj has a background, as you'll see, he's in video. He's done some video work that we think has been great, and we'd like to share with you today. And then also we have Jeff. Jeff, who is one of our brokers for Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. And he is in Real Estate 3 in Central Virginia. And Jeff has also done some great video work on YouTube, and he's using it as a way to educate buyers and sellers about the home buying process. So with that said, let's get started. Today we're here to take a little bit of a high-level session on strategy, on video strategy, and then we'll take a deep dive into some of the strategies that our guests are using. So Raj, Jeff, if you want to say something right in the beginning, or we can jump right into the first question.
Let's do it. Bring it
All
on.
right. Let's go. So, Raj, we'll take this question goes out to both of you. Raj, if you can go first. Can you first tell us about your strategy? What are you trying to achieve, and who is your target audience?
Thanks, George. Well, a little bit about our strategy. Our strategy is really to never forget that we're a service-based industry and that our clients always come first. We don't shoot these videos because we're a video company. We shoot these videos because the videos give our clients the best chance for success. So that's the reason behind the videos in a nutshell. But our overall strategy is just remembering that we're a service-based industry and our clients come first.
Great. Jeff?
So our strategy was sort of birthed out of the fact that we weren't real crazy about the idea of being a blogging company. That's just nobody in our company really was willing to embrace that concept. And then when the idea of video blogging came to us, that was something that we found easy or easier to do. And so we ended up starting off with the idea that we would just shoot some videos, interview some of our agents, talk about the process, and it started very, very primitive, but it was easy for us to do that. That was we were looking for an online presence, and shooting videos seemed easier for us to do than a Word blog or a WordPress blog. So we started with that, and then it ended up morphing into, we actually ended up creating a television show that was professionally done television show where we partnered with our mortgage partners and our title partners to help us sponsor it. But it started very primitive, and then it grew into a television show, and so now we have professionally done video, which we can move around, and of course we'll talk about that on the show.
Great. That's great. So before we move on to the next question, let me just remind the audience that we will take questions near the end. You can submit your questions on Twitter using the hashtag BHGRE. So any questions that you have, please feel free to send it to us. So thank you for that answer. I agree that you have to have a goal when you do these videos. I'm responsible for our strategy for the brand, and so everything that we do, there's a purpose for it. There's a goal. I would not recommend to go off and create these videos just to have something on YouTube. You have to have an audience that you're going after, and you have to target that audience in order to attract them and then ultimately get them to your site. So Raj, your videos, they're mainly used as marketing pieces for your properties. Can you give us a quick rundown of what one of these videos looks like? How long are they? How do you determine which properties to shoot? And where do you show them?
Yeah, so what we've done as a brokerage is we've brought video completely in-house. So we own all our cameras, our lenses, the boom stands, the sliders, the lights. We own everything. So we have complete control of everything. If we need a new lens or we need something for a particular shoot, we just go out and get it. But the idea kind of starts really as you meet the clients and you walk through the home. There's usually something that, for lack of a better saying, kind of draws at me. And I have this emotion or a connection with the home. The most recent example is a home in Orange County, a luxury listing that we took. The moment I walked through these huge double doors, there was a baby grand piano in the dining room. No dining room table or chairs, but just a huge baby grand piano with these gorgeous French doors that overlook the backyard, half-acre pool, absolutely gorgeous. So I said, aha, I've got it. We're gonna hire a singer-songwriter to play music during the entire video, and she's gonna be the backdrop for the entire movie. So that's how it kind of comes to me. That's how I think about it. We like to keep our videos, and now we're really moving to calling them movies. We like to keep our movies 2 to 3 minutes long, especially when we've got actors, multiple cinematographers. Like, for example, that one, we had 4 cinematographers and an aerial quadcopter going up and over the home and doing some aerial footage of the property.
Great, great. So you basically you do see that there's value in the, let's say, the entertainment factor. You have to get the audience engaged in your videos.
Well, George, I think the first thing is that you need to create an emotional connection with your video. You cannot do a Blair Witch style project video through a house with an iPhone strapped on a mount on a skateboard with you as the talking head walking through the house. That's just not what we do. What we do is a full production. It's storyboarded, sitting right in our office. We're thinking of a storyline and what's this home going to look like on this street in this neighborhood. But it's going to look very different on Pinterest versus Facebook versus Twitter versus YouTube, right?
Right.
And then
right.
where are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about on Instagram as well. So the social storyboard of our video is so beyond just what we're shooting. It's how are we going to push it out? And then how are we going to create an audience that engages and connects with the content and the strategy that we're pushing out?
That's great. That's great. Thank you. Jeff, so your videos are more about educating the consumers on the market and the real estate process overall. Can you tell us how often you shoot these videos and how you market these videos?
Well, first let me say I love what Raj is doing, and I think I want to go to work for him because he is definitely heading in the right direction. Again, our process evolved so that we have 2 segments on our television show. One is a feature home that sounds like it's a little bit similar to what Raj does. We will take one of our agents and their a really nice listing that we have, and we will film this home professionally, and we'll feature the agent and the listing. And of course, that's going to make the agent happy because they're going to get some attention. That's going to keep the seller happy and hopefully help us keep the listing. But that's also going to give us a little bit of stickiness to our website so that people can keep coming back to our website, because everybody likes to see, as Raj was saying, everybody likes to see the really nice, well-done video. And so instead of doing it in-house, I like Raj's way better. We've ended up partnering with a television station and creating our own television show. It's just a different way to do it. So we have that segment that's called our feature home segment. And then we also have a segment on the show that's what we call Real Talk, where we will bring in one of our lenders, one of our builders, an attorney, and we'll talk about the process of what it takes to get a mortgage today. Or we'll take a certain part of buying or selling real estate, and we'll have about a 2-minute interview, and it's in the television studio behind the green screen, and so it's professionally done. And it's again, it's about 2 minutes, a little Q&A, and we try to do some educating. We'll also bring in some of our agents and talk about staging a home for sale or a topic like that that's relevant today.
Great, great. And I think that's key. You mentioned 2 minutes. We all know that these days users are keeping their attention online is very important, and it's very hard. So I think that keeping the videos under 2 minutes, or keeping them to a limited time frame that engages the user is a critical piece of this overall strategy. As we all know, we're very busy, and users don't want to go online and sit down in front of a computer and watch a 10-minute or 15-minute presentation. So that's great. Raj, back to you. So your videos look and sound fantastic. How are you able to achieve basically this high production value? Can you go into a little bit more detail?
Yeah, sure thing, George. Well, there's a lot of takes. I mean, we just pushed a blooper reel onto our YouTube channel because, the final product, Jeff, as you know, will look awesome, but it sure takes a long time to get there. And that's the one thing about video. If you're really going to embrace video into your business, and then like your marketing and your content strategy, you just got to have patience, and you got to understand that it's really different than a photo shoot. It is completely, it's another world. We learned that easily on our first couple of videos that we started doing, and we're very obsessive about the way our things look online. And I think even one of the first times I met Sherry Chris, who's the CEO of Better Homes and Garden Realty, she actually said, like, "Oh my gosh, your stuff looks amazing." So one of the things that we're doing is we've got complete control, right? So everything's in-house. I mean, it might be 10 or 15 edits, and a week goes by before that final cut is ready, and we say it's boutiqueified, right? It's past us, and we've put our seal of approval on it, and it gets pushed out. One of the neatest things is really watching what our sellers and our clients say as we're bringing this equipment through the house, right? You just don't show up with a little duffel bag with a camera. I mean, we've got 2 or 3 cars full of stuff pulling up to someone's house, and we're unloading, and the video's like room to room to room. Lights on, fireplace going, candles flickering. The home is beautifully staged, and we're shooting room by room by room. And then if you've got actors, whether they're humans or pets, right? It adds a whole nother element, right? It's a whole thing that you got to think of. But we just take a lot of time. We've put it as a forefront in our marketing campaign. And Jeff called it stickiness. Google and YouTube, they speak the same language. So the ability to upload a video to YouTube with that specific URL, that's youtube.com/ABC123, that's the same exact language that Google speaks. So for organic search, you have the ability to have a chance to rank high on organic search with videos that are uploaded to YouTube.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's something that everybody should be doing. Exactly what Raj just mentioned. You try to utilize your address, the address of the property. If it's humanly readable, then our search engines can also pick up on that address. A lot of times we tend to name the video something cute or funny or something like that. That is just going to hurt you in the long run with your search engine strategy. So exactly what Raj mentioned is absolutely right on point. Raj, can you also tell us a little bit about your in-house setup? How many people you have on staff dedicated to creating the videos? How did you integrate them into your team? How did you find them?
Yeah, that's a huge question. Okay, so it started back in 2010, I wanted to incorporate video into our overall content strategy. And I was looking for something that a lot of people in my local community were not doing, and that was video. And I knew I did not want to do the Blair Witch Project style video with the iPhone as you're walking through the house and you're talking about the agent or yourself more than the home, right? I mean, we see those videos and I'm just like, delete, I'm done with those. That's not the vision I had, but there's a lot of great people across the country who are doing really good videos. And what happened when I was watching these videos, I almost forgot that they were a salesperson selling me a product, which was the home, right? So I was emotionally connected to a storyline, which I think people in our industry forget. People are drawn to other people who could tell stories. And if you're able to tell a story well, you're able to engage with whoever you want to engage with. I mean, think about the last party you were at and you met someone for the first time and they had the best story you had ever heard. I mean, you remember that story. So I knew that's the way I wanted to run with video, is I wanted to tell a story. And the house was almost secondary to the lifestyle of that neighborhood. So in Orange County, California, Southern California, right? The image that comes into all of your heads, right? We have beautiful people. We have beautiful landscape and houses. We have beautiful scenery. We have beautiful cars, right? That's kind of the image of Orange County. We have all this beautifulness wrapped up in a little, we call it the orange bubble, right? Or the orange curtain. I wanted to portray that, right? Because we're shooting $1 million plus homes all the time. And so there's a certain buyer that's looking at those homes and they could relate and connect to a certain story if you're able to storyboard it in the right way. Okay, so that's kind of how I knew what's this home going to look like on the street, in this neighborhood, behind the gates of this community in Orange County. So let's talk about that. Are there farmer markets? Is there a street fair? What's the best place to grab sushi in that community, right? These are all the things I want to know. Where do the kids go to school? Is there a local college? Are they nationally renowned for baseball or football or basketball or whatever? Let's incorporate these elements into the video and get a message together. And the house is secondary. I mean, it's really hard for agents to understand. They're like, you didn't get every single bathroom. I'm like, this home has 10 bathrooms. Do we really need to show every toilet in the whole home? I don't think so, right? But let's get the basics of the home, right? The kitchen, the master bath, the outdoor living space. Let's get like the good stuff of the home, but let's incorporate the city. Okay, let's take it to the next level. Let's bring actors into this, right? Okay, are they going to be human or are there pets involved, right? Are we going to jump in a helicopter? I mean, these are all the things that we think about when we're shooting. It's not just like, let's grab it and let's go shoot. Okay, there's a story, there's an emotional connection that I want to have with that property. And when I'm watching the video, if I'm not there, then we're not shooting it.
Great. And so based on, your average property or the average shoot that you do, how many people would you say are present at one time at the shoot?
Yeah, it really depends. So I would say there's 2 or 3 agents there. So like my personal team is there. For example, the home that we shot, if you go to our YouTube channel, it's entitled Movie 9741 Janus Circle. So we had 4 agents and an intern there, and then 4 cinematographers there, right? So 9 of us at that property. And we were there, and remember, we didn't just show up and the home was ready to shoot a video. The home was impeccably staged for 3 days. So we have an in-house staging team that goes and stages properties for us in-house, and they work for us and us alone. So they go stage the property, make sure it's absolutely perfect. And then we're there before the camera people get there. So the light's on, the music's on, the candles are flicking, the fireplace is going, the pool waterfall's on, the lights in the pool are, the landscape lights are on, the place is watered down. I mean, it's ready to rock, right? So when the camera guys get there, they could start setting up. And okay, now we've got to bring the actors in. Where are we going to start? What's the storyline? Do we have all the props ready? Right? So it takes a lot of patience, but you got to be passionate about it, or you're not going to be able to pull it off. Right?
Right.
So you have to be passionate about it. And the other day I was on a Google Plus Hangout, and my takeaway, my mantra for 2014 was be genuinely strategic. And I think video gives you that opportunity to be genuinely strategic about not just that listing, but your involvement with the community. And then also, as people are building teams in real estate, which this is a huge deal for everyone across the country, is being on a team, right? Because no one agent can do all of this. You can't be the stager. You can't be the interior designer. You can't be the social media manager. Oh, and the agent and the transaction coordinator. Oh, and now you need to do this upload onto every website known to man. You can't do that all on your own anymore, right? Jeff, you hear me, Jeff? You know what I mean?
Hearing you.
It's
a lot of work.
impossible to do that. So it's a great way to build teams. And so that last video I talked about, we had our agents and their spouses and their kids in the video as well. So it's a great way to bring people together and create that sense, that great culture that sometimes you don't have. It's great to bring that great culture into a team.
Great. And I believe that's just about half the work, right, Raj? Everything that you do on site is just getting the video. Then the second part of that is the in-house production of cutting the video, going through all the footage, determining what the best shots are, and then piecing that storyline that you mentioned, piecing that together. So during that process, are you involved? Is the agent involved? Who's involved in that process and the decision making?
Yeah, that's big. So most of the time, everyone wants me to have a look at it, right? I've got this thing inside me. It's just genetically, it's in my DNA that I'm super obsessive, and I like things to look a certain way. But what I found out over my time in the industry is other people like the way I like things to look, and they want things to look like how I want them to look, right? So our cinematographer and myself were going back and forth on edits, back and forth. Hey, at minute 101, take that scene out, right? And then zip to minute 103 and bring that in and then cut that out. And then, hey, the camera seemed to jump a little bit on the slider on those wood floors. Can you make sure it doesn't jump or splice that together, right? It goes back and forth. I mean, you could have 60, 70 emails on one video before we push it out.
Absolutely.
So we're all involved. I mean, it's really the videographer and the guy who's cutting it with myself, putting it together.
Great. Jeff, so on your videos, can you talk a little bit about your production, the whole process, who's involved, and how you come in, and how your agents play a role in them as well?
Right. Well, first let me say, again, I'm really impressed with what Raj is doing, and Raj mentioned Sherry Chris and being the CEO of Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Corporate. One of the things she said to me early on as I joined on board with the brand is she said that you need to find your voice on the web. And so, again, going back to the early days, I didn't really know what that was going to be. I thought I was going to be forced to be a word blogger, but I didn't go that way. I went the different way. I went the way of video, and what I found was that there was a lot of territory that was open there. In our market, nobody else was really doing video. There were some folks that were competing in the word blogging, and they were having great results, but I decided not to really get into that part of the web. I decided to go with something that I thought we could do and do reasonably well. So we jumped into the video, and it ended up, as Raj will tell you, and his operation is much more sophisticated than mine, but if you do video week after week after week after week after week, and then all of a sudden somebody searches your marketplace, whether it's on YouTube or Google, and they search Central Virginia real estate or Charlottesville, which is our main market, Charlottesville real estate, all of a sudden, wow, up jumps 100 YouTube videos, and our next closest competitor maybe has one or two. It just gives us that huge advantage. So we ran into that space, and again, we started fairly primitive. We started with our own flip cam, and what did Raj call it? The Blair Witch Project video. we had way too much of that early on, but we ended up in this partnership with a company called Newsplex here, which is a local television station. They own a ABC, CBS, and Fox affiliate, so they own a major part of our market here, and they approached us about doing this TV show, and it evolved, and we ended up finding a way to pay for it. So we meet every week, twice a week. One time is out at a listing that we will film. Again, that's going to be a home, and usually we try, in our market, we try to get a home that's over 500,000. We'd like to get a nicer home that's maybe over $1 million listing, something that is really kind of worthy of video, and so that'll be at least 2 to 3 hours on we have that set every Monday afternoon, and that's something, again, our agents appreciate the time that's put into it, because the agent that has that listing will be there for most of that time, and the seller is usually there because the seller wants to see this big production that's going on. And so we found that that both the listing agent and the seller really like the attention that they get when we produce these feature home videos, and so it ends up helping us keep our listings. They get a lot of, or a decent amount of views. We then, after we play it on our TV show, which is every Sunday, and we have 3 slots on Sundays: 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and then 11:30 at night. So it plays 3 times on Sundays, and then the television station hosts the television show on their website. We host it on our website, and then of course we're moving it around, as Raj said, to all the different websites, again with YouTube being a certain emphasis on that. So I'm out in the field on Mondays, and then on Tuesdays I'm into the studio where we're doing an interview, again with one of our agents or one of our real estate partners on that education process. So there's quite a bit of time to it, but again, I think you build up some video equity, if you will. I certainly hope you do, because Raj and I certainly have enough time invested in it, him more so than I.
Right, and so stepping away a little bit from the online value, how much value do you think that this brings to your real estate agents in order to, let's say, gain more listings? Do the consumers who are looking to list their homes see this as a huge marketing add-on, or can you talk a little bit about that?
I think our agents use it well, particularly the ones that are kind of medium sophisticated on the web on up. If they have an iPad and they come into a listing presentation and they talk about here, we're going to go after video, and again, when they show our YouTube channel compared to the competitors, and they show the quality of our videos, it helps us get listings. Our agents like it because it doesn't cost them anything. This is something that our company is providing for them, and then they feel like that they are getting this corporate support, which is myself and others in the organization, but they're getting support from the company as they go out to compete with these listings. So I think sellers generally like to see their home on video, and it's another way that our agents are able to say, hey, listen, and Raj said this a little bit earlier, that if you're going to go on video, you have to be looking show ready. And so that's a tender conversation that you have to have with this seller, but it's a very real conversation, and the fact that you're getting ready to go on television or on video can help ultimately lead to the sale. Just the fact that you have to kind of kick it in shape and really stage it properly.
Gotcha. Okay, great. Raj, can you tell us about a time that one of your videos helped to sell a property?
Oh man, I could go on and on and on about that. I mean, video has really represented one of the biggest ROIs for our brokerage and our team in a whole. And I'll say that again, if anyone's tweeting out there, the ROI on video is ridiculous. So if you're not shooting video, I suggest you should in 2014. But real quick, I'll give you a great story. So as I mentioned earlier, some of our videos could take 4, 5, 6 days to edit, produce, and cut, and then push out. But in that time, we're able to create like a little movie trailer, so to speak. So like a 20 to 30 second snippet of what's to come. And this is a great idea. We actually have a playlist on our YouTube channel called Movie Trailers, and you can go on there and see some of the work that coming soon to tomorrow, whatever it is. But a great example, we took a luxury listing in Orange County, and we did the whole thing. We had 15 actors, we had 3 cars, we had the home is absolutely drop dead gorgeous. And while we were shooting that video and getting it cut, we did a 30-second teaser. What we did with that teaser is we took it online. And so we created a Facebook and Google ad campaign on that teaser, linked to our YouTube channel, but we also created an email campaign on that teaser. So we have the ability to embed video into emails, and what we did is we sent that email out to our list. And just so you know, the industry average in real estate for a click-through or an open on an email is about 18%. So if you get 18%, that was a pretty halfway, kind of sort of decent email that you sent out. But you get 20 to 30%, you had like a good subject line, or the content was really meaty, so to speak. 30 to 40%, you're literally going around the country writing books on how to create email strategy. 50% plus, you're speaking at conferences, you're literally called the email guru. Anyway, we knew we had something when we sent this 30-second teaser out to our email list, and we had a 55% open rate.
Wow.
Okay, 55% on a 30-second, and it was a really simple. I mean, it's like 6 kids jumping into the pool. There's a cinematographer up high. There's a cinematographer in the pool, swimming across the pool, and you see the parents with their feet in the pool, lined up with a glass of a beverage in their hand, and it basically said "coming soon" and the property website address. That was it.
Wow.
That was it. But what happened is through the Facebook campaign that we were running on that, a friend of a friend clicked on the ad. And so their friend saw that, right? And said, oh my gosh, I'm looking for a home in that city. Oh, I see that they're having an open house. So that buyer came to the house, not represented by an agent, became our client, eventually bought that home. So that's a 30-second video with a strategic ad campaign that resulted in the sale of $1 million property.
Wow, that's great. Do you usually accompany your videos with these type of advertising campaigns? And if so, how often, how far in advance would you recommend somebody kick that off?
Yeah, so for us, once again, it takes 4, 5, 6 days to get the final cut. But it could, on day one, we could have a little teaser out. So we try to do it on just about every listing that we're doing, and every listing that we're shooting a video on. We try to get that out, and every single time there's an associated Google and Facebook ad campaign running for either the trailer or the full movie. Every single time.
Great. And I mean, that's a great way to also see what type of ROI you're getting on your video, or get sort of a baseline of what type of audience you might get for that video, since you can go into your analytics, and everything on the web can be tracked. So I'm sure you utilize that to also get a little bit of a preview of how that video is going to perform.
Of course.
Yep. So Jeff, can you tell us what kind of reaction you get from your marketplace in the videos, not just from consumers, but maybe other competitors, or has anybody else commented on your video strategy?
Well, the general public has responded well. Again, since we have so many videos up on our YouTube channel, we tend to do well when somebody is searching video, and when you're coming from other parts of the country, it seems to be very popular to search YouTube, and so the fact that we have such a dominant presence on the YouTube site, we get a lot of folks that engage with us through the videos. One other thing I wanted to mention that we do, other than just featured homes, we will also do featured neighborhoods. And the general public likes that as well. As Raj was saying earlier, they like to see a neighborhood and what's involved, the amenities in a neighborhood, the schools in a neighborhood, are there any parks in the neighborhood, and so on. And we found that to be very successful as well.
Great. How would you describe the impact on your brand, Jeff, that doing these videos has basically has impacted your brand, both online and offline?
Well, for our company, it's been a year and a half that we have really invested in video, and it takes time to kind of build up your brand equity. It's not something that we saw after the first month, but then all of a sudden, if you stay committed to video and you're doing it week in and week out, all of a sudden the general public starts to follow it, and they start to look forward to your videos, and particularly the way that we are getting them out to the general public through our television show is that after about 6 months, you'd start to run into people who would then start to pick up and say, hey, I see your TV show, hey, I see your TV show, and it's a process where you have to stay with it. It's not something that you're going to have this brand recognition after a month, but now that we've been doing it 18 months, we're well into our second year. Now we're starting to get kind of this brand recognition from it, and the general public is responding.
Great. Raj, would you like to comment basically on the impact on your brand that you've seen due to the video strategy?
Yeah, so I had no idea what we were in for once we started shooting video. So now what happens is other agencies, other brokers, other just people across the country are asking us to look at their video before they shoot it out across the web. I mean, not just on the professional and our corporate level, but like Jeff was saying, we're getting calls because people saw a movie that we shot and that we listed, and the ROI could have been like the highest closed sale in that particular city. And it may or may not have been attributed to the video, but they're saying, I want my home to look like that. And that gal that you had behind the piano, will she do that at my house? You know, that's what we're getting. Hey, Raj, you jumped in a helicopter at that listing. Well, are you going to do that over here? That's the kind of conversation that you get into. And literally, you have no competition when you speak like that to your potential sellers. You have no competition. So the next agent who comes through and says, I'm going to put your home on X, Y, and Z website, and you're saying, well, great, but this guy's going to shoot a movie and he's got fancy cars and he's jumping in a helicopter. He's got singer-songwriter actors and actresses or four-legged animals cruising through the house. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me right now? There's no way you're not going to get that listing. Okay, George, Jeff, you guys feel my love right now? Like, see how crazy we are about this?
I love it.
You're creating competitive immunity when you do this for your brokerage and your team. One more time, if you're tweeting that out. Videos will create competitive immunity for you and your team. And if you talk like this in a listing presentation, you're not going to walk away without a signed or electronically signed listing contract.
That's great. That's great. So, Raj, according to YouTube, 40% of real estate customers visit YouTube to look for property videos. Can you share some stats on how your videos are performing, and perhaps how much traffic they drive back to your site, or just talk in general about statistically on YouTube?
Yeah, so definitely every single video that we have is definitely going on YouTube, but it literally starts on Vimeo and then heads over to YouTube. So we found both to be quite valuable. While Vimeo is more specific, Vimeo.com is more specific, where you're searching for a property, you won't see a video on the right channel of a baby cat jumping into a tree. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you're searching for video on Vimeo, it's a little bit more specific than YouTube. YouTube's can sometimes be a little bit noisy. But we are tracking our stats. We're shooting out video emails. We're linking Facebook ads to emails or to video on YouTube, to our YouTube channel. But what's also so great is that we're able, like Jeff said, to highlight not just homes, but we have an agent or a Meet Our Team playlist on our YouTube channel. We're able to have agents, since you own all your equipment, you're able to shoot in the office or on site, or if that agent is particularly working in a neighborhood, you're able to shoot that agent in that neighborhood and push it out to all our channels. So it's not just about the views and the hits, but it's creating that digital footprint on search for your SEO strategy that is so vital to everything that we're doing right now in real estate, right? Everyone's in the moment. Everyone's on their phone every day, head down and focused on something. We're hoping that we can get 1 second of their attention so they could click that link and get them to the, oh my gosh, video that you just shot at that house, right? Everyone's so busy. They're getting hundreds of emails a day. How are you going to get their attention? And I think video is one way to get people's attention.
Great. What about SEO? I'll throw this question out to both of you guys. I know we talked about, Jeff, you talked about not just being a blogger. You wanted to be, you wanted to get into video and differentiate yourself. Can you talk about how putting these videos on YouTube or on Vimeo or any of the other basically video websites out there, how is it generating more traffic online and ultimately more leads for your business?
Well, we have definitely seen an increase in our search results since we've been doing video. And again, we were trying to find what is our strategy, what works for us as a company. And again, the video just seemed like it was the right fit for us, and so we got into it. And again, it takes time, but I would encourage anybody who's thinking about getting into video is that you have to start somewhere. I would say get into it, and even if it's not professionally done, to start with, just get yourself a strategy and get going with it. Some of our early videos were not the greatest videos, but now the ones that we're doing, pretty solid videos. They're seeing a good number of views on YouTube, and it also, for us, it gives us content for us to spread around, as Raj was talking about. For us, we find that video ends up being that content that really becomes something worthwhile to put on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, of course Google+, and your different sites. So you have to have good content in order to send it around to your different social channels. And so for us, we were like, how are we going to get content? We don't want to be WordPress bloggers necessarily, and so video was the answer for us. And as a result of getting into it and spending time with it, we have seen our search our rankings go up considerably since we've been into video.
Great, great. So one of the key things also, it's not just putting the video on YouTube and these third-party sites, it's also how you tag the video and adding the description to the video, the name of the video. Have any of you tried transcribing the video to get SEO value?
That's probably something Raj does on a regular basis.
Jeff, you want to take that one or what?
I just help produce it. We have some folks that helps send it around the world on our different channels, but I can't. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, we got a pretty ridiculous content strategy for where our videos are going. How many times a day they're going out. So we don't want to spam people, but it's never like, hey, look at my video. Here it is. There's a story, right? You're asking questions. You're trying to engage people. So they have that time to click the link and watch and actually see what you're doing. And people that actually take the time to see what you're doing value what you're doing, and those are the calls that you get.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I think, but before we jump into questions, Raj, any parting advice to brokers looking to set up an in-house video team? How can they go about that? How do you get started with that?
Yeah, I think you just got to do it. Just like anything in life, you just got to try it. And I knew after that first video we shot that it was going to be something that was going to be a part of our content strategy, our marketing strategy, our digital footprint from that point forward. Okay, so if you're going to create an in-house team, you really want to get someone who's local, knows the area, and is passionate about shooting video, who is patient and will kind of go room to room to room with you. I would be in charge of buying all the equipment. Like if you're a brokerage, think about purchasing all your own stuff, and you have control of that. Those are my 2 bits of advice, and then the third would be just have some patience, because video is a process, right? And it's not going to be absolute Hollywood magic on the first video that you shoot, but you find someone that you can work with that's able to cut and produce it. I think that's a good baby step into video.
Great. Jeff, what about from your end? Any parting advice to brokers looking to focus on educational and the market videos that you talked about?
One thing you might want to consider is either having somebody within your brokerage or hiring I want to say consultant, but somebody who helps hold you accountable and create a calendar and really make sure that you create a plan and execute the plan. Because if as Raj was saying, if you just go in and shoot 1 or 2 videos a month and there's no plan to it, you're really not going to see kind of the video equity that you really want to. If you have a plan, a solid plan, and for us it's 1 to 2 videos per week, but that takes planning, that takes organization, and so we have a consultant it helps work with us. It helps ask questions about who would you want to interview, who would make an interesting interview, who would the general public want to hear from. And so I think being held accountable and creating this plan, and then stick to the plan, and I would say work it for a year minimum, and you're going to see some results. And as Raj said, you try to have some fun with it. We also shot a blooper reel. I have made so many mistakes out, shooting video, and you can't be afraid of it. You can't let that hold you back. And at the end of the day, that's probably our highest viewed video that we have is our blooper reel. But you just gotta go with it and try it and have some fun and do it.
Okay, great. So at this point, we'll see if we do have a couple questions coming in. The first one is what affordable and largely already done video can be found, or can be found the resource to provide an already done video? What is your reaction, both Raj and Jeff, to that question? I know a lot of, or everything that you do is done in-house and it's unique. Would you recommend going down this approach?
Someone's going to shoot the video for you and be done? Where are they? Sign me up. How does that happen? Yeah, no, I mean, I think you could buy some like local community stuff online, and there's certain websites you can do. We don't do that. We have all our own stuff, so we're shooting community all the time. So we've got a significant amount of B-roll stocked up and saved up. Jeff, how about you?
Well, again, we've ended up partnering with this television station, and so that's how we've ended up getting our professionally produced filming done. But if somebody doesn't want to go, can't afford your route, Raj, or isn't ready to do the partnership that we're in, I do think that there's a possibility, and I live in a college town, and I do think it's possible to, as Raj has done, I do think it's possible to purchase the video equipment and then maybe partner up with some college students almost on an internship type basis and come up with a program that way. I think that's some territory that we're actually thinking about exploring to go on top of the video that we're already producing. I do think that there's some folks out there that you can hire out, sub out. It's not going to be anywhere near the quality of what Raj is producing, but I do think there's a way that you can get it done that way.
No, that's a great point, and I think again it's going back to making the video unique and making your company stand out. I think when you go to these third-party videos that you can just purchase, remember it's not just you making those purchases. I'm sure your competitors will be able to access that video as well, and then how much did you gain by differentiating yourself online with those videos? So I'm going to have to agree with both of you guys and go down the road of making that small investment and shooting these videos yourself. Let's say another question that came in. What is the biggest mistake you've seen your competitors make online with video? Not the Blair Witch Project that Raj has mentioned, but more or less, have you seen anything that has hurt them from a branding standpoint or a marketing standpoint?
Well, I personally think that the agents out there that are calling photo slideshows a video. So, for example, just last week I went on a listing presentation because we still are agents at heart. I mean, we're feet on the street agents, so we're still doing all those things. We're looking at disclosures and preparing counteroffers and going to battle every day. But the agent had just left about 45 minutes before me, and they're like, "Oh, the last agent was talking about doing videos too here." I said, "Oh, do you have an example?" They're like, "Yeah, here's this link." And I looked at it, and I just about fell out of my chair. I'm like, "That's not a video, that's a photo slideshow. I can set that up on iMovie in like 2 seconds. Okay, let me show you what a movie looks like. Can I please show you?" Okay, they're like, yeah, like they're like totally engaged and into it. They're like, "Yeah, show me." So you just hit play on my iPad and let it roll. And literally for 2 minutes and 15 seconds, that husband and wife did not move a muscle, and their jaws literally just dropped. They're like, "You're gonna do that in my house?" I said, yeah, me and, there's going to be 8 others of us, and we're going to come in, and we need your house for 3 nights in a row. And this is a story. And when I walked in, you had that amazing rock pool in the backyard, with that slide and the grotto. And I could see just like a whole family, like, get together in that backyard, like with, someone barbecuing behind the barbecue, the kids jumping off the rock formations and all that. They're like, what are you going to charge me to do that? I'm not charging you anything to do that. That's what I'm offering to you because I want to give you the best chance of success. I've made this investment, and let me show you what else we've done. Okay.
Right.
Then as an agent, the talk comes off of everything else, right? It's not about everything else. It's like, oh my gosh, this guy's different. His team's different. His brokerage is different. When I left, the last thing they said to me is like, you don't speak like any other agent that we've ever talked to in our life. Okay, you speak a whole nother language, right? So I think if you're able to talk like that to your clients and not just tell them, but show them, don't make a promise you can't keep, but show them what you've been up to. Because a lot of people could care less about, our industry and everything that we're doing every day. We're totally in the battlefield. They can care less. But when it's their home now, it's the world on your shoulders, right? Because it's their home, and now you're walking into their world. Okay, so I think shooting video and at the level and the pace that we're doing at, it's a huge asset for anyone that you get a chance to work with.
Great. Jeff, what about you? Have you seen any mistakes that perhaps your competition or others have made online when it comes to real estate video?
Well, let me say, it's no secret that real estate brokers have cut way back on print advertising in the last 5 years. And so what happens in our market, if you're non-existent in print, and if you don't have a video or some type of very strong online presence, you're apt to walk into that terrible question of, gee, I didn't know you were still in real estate. And so the reason I bring that up is everybody's cut back on the print, and video is another place where you can keep your name out there. And so the mistake is for these brokerages that aren't engaged in video and don't have a video strategy, they're really again apt to walk into that. Gee, I didn't know you were still in the business.
Wow. Okay. Great.
Yeah, we don't get that so much, Jeff. Oh my gosh, it's like, are you a movie producer now, or are you still selling homes? I mean, that's kind of the conversation we get into. But the call to action is a little different now. It's not like just listed anymore on print. It's watch the movie at youtube.com/theboutiquere. You know what I mean? The call to action is different because you want people to see this, and some people still won't get on the internet or don't even know how to get to YouTube. So I think on a hyper local level, some print is still valuable, especially if there's a thought process and a strategy behind that call to action and where you want people to go.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I think keeping in mind who your audience is for that print piece, as Raj, as you mentioned, perhaps the people who are getting those print pieces aren't the ones who are the most technical. So having that call to action specific to them is key there. One of the last questions I see coming in here is, Raj, people want to know what is a video a price tag for one of your videos?
Well, once again, so yeah, right. It's really the most popular question I get asked. We're at Inman over the summer in San Francisco, and like the same guy asked me 6 times, how much does it cost? Well, it's really different because we've made that capital investment, right? So it's really hard for me to answer that on a per production level because we've bought all our stuff. We're not like outsourcing or renting really anything to shoot a video. We don't have a helicopter just yet, but I think it would be a little bit more expensive if our brokerage had a cool orange helicopter flying around Orange County. I can't. It could be from hundreds to thousands, depending on. You've got actors now that you're subbing out for, or renting cool cars. We're lucky. A lot of people, our friends and family, have some really cool cars that we could use, so we could save some money that way. But hundreds to thousands, it just really depends. But our price point is not $100,000 to $200,000. We're not shooting a movie at a $200,000 condo. We may be shooting a video there, but we're not getting actors and pets and cool cars and all that. You know, we got to be strategic again about it.
Right, and I'm sure basically your cost is just the overhead of all the extras, right? Because you own the equipment, you've made that original investment, so now it's just how far do you want to take this one particular video?
Right. Yep.
Yep. All right, so I think that's all the questions that we have. Jeff, Raj, unless you have any other comments, we can wrap up. Obviously, I'd like to thank you for your participation today. Thank you. You guys are great. Everything that you're doing online. Please continue to do so. And everybody else, the audience, thanks for joining us. Be sure to check out the Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Google Plus channel, and for other hangouts. And of course, check us out at nextgenbrokerage.com. To learn more about the Beta Brokerage project. So once again, thanks everyone, and keep shooting those videos. Take care.
See you guys. Bye.
Thanks.